Plaintiff Deanna Grace says at the age of 3, she knew she was transgender. And after being abused by her stepfather, she ran away from home at the age of 15. Deanna knows she and the defendant have the same mother, but she petitioned for a DNA test to see if they also have the same father. Defendant Kathy Thompson says she was 10 when she first met Deanna, and at the time, Deanna was living as a boy. Kathy claims when she found out Deanna wanted to transition, she didn't think anything of it, and she's looking forward to putting the DNA issue to rest today.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
All right. And we're here for a DNA sibling test, I see.
Yes, sir.
All right. And to see if you all are sisters?
Mm-hmm.
If we have the same father.
Okay.
Right.
Good
No,
enough.
we got the same mother.
All right. You do have the same mother?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. Okay.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you. I was watching an episode of your show in 2015, and I heard about Suboxone. It helps addicts.
Yeah. Drug
I
addict.
called the clinic, got in, and I've been clean ever since. And I was
Excellent.
on a very bad addiction from 91 until then.
You think that has something to do with my work or what we did on television
Yes.
at that time?
Yeah, if I wouldn't have seen it, I never would have known.
Thank you. Thank you. And I like to
Thank
hear.
you.
And not that I'm trying to flatter myself. I like for folks to hear that what the work we do here is effective.
It does. It helps.
Because sometimes people criticize my approach. And so I'm always glad to hear when someone says your approach works, Judge.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you. And what's your life like? Give me some background on yourself and anything else.
I had a horrible childhood. My father, who I thought was my father, died when I was 6. My mother remarried. That's when it really went downhill.
How
He
so?
was physically, mentally abusive. I was drinking at the age of 7 because of that. But there was always a party at the house. My dad was gone, mouse away, you know. And when I was 15, plus I'm dealing with being transgender. I've known this since I was 3.
That you identified as a woman?
Yes. But where I'm from, that was taboo. This is the 70s, Southern Illinois. Not allowed, you know. So when I was 15, I ran away. I started doing drag shows.
Good. Where did you move to?
Wherever I could find a gay bar
Good.
that
And
would
did
let me
you
do a
enjoy
show.
life at that point?
It was the only time I felt human.
Yeah,
I felt-
and that's why I said good. I know some folks would have said, she said she ran away and went to drag shows. And he said, that's good. I say it's good because what you just described prior to 15 was miserable for you as a child. So if you found happiness on the drag circuit, good for you, even
Thank
at
you,
age
Your Honor.
15. Now, I'm glad that you were able to find something. So how did things go for you from there?
Well, I've done shows from coast to coast.
Good.
And a year ago, this month, I started medically transitioning.
Okay.
I have never been happier.
And how long does that therapy last? Over the course?
Lifelong.
No, but administering the therapy until completion of the transition.
Well, it's a process, but
1,
I'll
2
always
years,
be on
1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
You can get the surgery top and bottom within 2 years, but you're going to be on hormones and testosterone blockers for the rest of your life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm from West Virginia, and I have to drive clear to Pittsburgh to have a doctor that would take my insurance 300 miles round trip. But I'm happy now.
Good. And that's
really
that's
happy.
what's important. Not what people think of you, but what you feel.
Thank
That's
you,
what's
Your Honor.
important, what you feel. And glad to know that you are happy and are no longer miserable based on what others might say or think of you. I like for folks to hear that the work we do here is effective.
It does. It helps.
Sometimes people criticize my approach. And so I'm always glad to hear when someone says your approach works, Judge.
Plaintiff Deanna Grace petitioned the court for a DNA test because she knows she and the defendant have the same mother, but she wants to find out if they also have the same father.
And you give me some background on yourself.
Well, myself isn't that too interesting. My grandparents raised me instead of our mother and my father, because like she said, one was going this way doing their thing, one was going.
Got it.
Grandparents had enough of it, being dropped off there and taken off and leaving us for weeks. So he adopted us.
Okay.
Best thing that ever happened to us. And then as I got about 10 years old, my grandfather said, would you like to see your mom or talk to her? I went, well, yeah. You know, so he called and he set it up where she came and visited. And then they got to talking. The next time she came into town, because they were in Ohio, next time she came into town, school was out, so Grandpa let me go stay with her for a couple weeks. That's where I met Dee, and yeah, we had a good time. I admit, you know, I felt a little sorry for him. I'd dress him up like a baby doll and, you know, and play with him. We had some fun that way, no harm. And so I was there, and then it got after his dad died, or supposedly dad died. Mom went crazy. I started staying more often because I was the babysitter. I had to take care of him. And I'll never forget, about the first time they left us, I made making breakfast for them, which I've been doing a long time, but I never made biscuits. I made me some biscuits.
You've been making breakfast all a long time and never made biscuits.
I tried, and they never tried.
Who does that?
I guess I do. I just buy them in a can now. It's easier.
Go ahead.
But I served them biscuits for breakfast, you know, and we went to eat them rock hard. So they ended up doing, and then I joined in. They sticking firecrackers in them and blowing them.
In the biscuits?
And it still wouldn't blow them up.
What
We
happened?
had biscuits all over the kitchen.
Oh, that sounds so. Does it make a
It was
loud
fun.
noise, though?
I cleaned it up for him. I got back.
No, but the noise, is it very loud?
Oh, yeah. Especially
yeah,
in a
it's a
mobile
fire
home.
truck.
Linda likes to have my granddaughters make cookies and cakes and stuff with her. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't want
would
to
love to do
traumatize.
that.
Don't do that.
Don't scare her.
She's
Don't
6 years old
traumatize her.
now.
But anyway, and then
Man, can you imagine?
Proceed at your own risk.
All right.
it was fun at the time.
I'll wait till they get older.
And then as they got older, I had left town and went to Florida and got married and all. Hadn't seen him for about 10, 15 years. That's when all this stuff was happening after she married the new guy. Didn't like him either. He asked me if I would go on Sally Jesse with him so he could come out to everybody. And I told him, well, sure. I got
You
no
went on
problem
Sally
with
Jesse
it.
Raphael?
I took her on there to tell her
did.
I was going to transition
All right.
in 98.
Yeah, it was a while back. But now
wow.
you're getting there.
You were brave decades ago.
Yep.
But
he
I'd
sure
get them
was.
out of state to tell them that way.
Yep, I sure
You were
did.
brave to let folks know, period. However you did it, that's courage.
Yeah, well, never bothered me a bit. I never called any of them half brothers and half sisters. They were just all my brothers. I was the oldest out of 8. I just called them all brothers and sisters. So it really don't matter to me either way how it goes.
Yeah, how did the question come up of, why don't you tell me?
When I was 18, I come back home to visit. I went in the local bar, and back then, when you were 18, you could drink. So I walked in the bar. Her father was in there. I walked up to, I always called him Daddy Bill, because he'd bring the girls to see us, you know. I walked up to him, I said, hey, Daddy Bill. He was drunk. He put his arm around me, and he said, you know, you're my bastard child. What? You know?
You didn't think you were blood related at all?
No.
Just on the mother's side.
And I mentioned it to my mother later that night. And she's like, well, you know, he's just a drunk. You don't believe him. It just blew me off. So I just let it go, live my life. And when I started this transitioning, I was also done one of the DNA ancestry things. And every so often I'll get emails with relatives that third, fourth cousins. The name Cox, my mother's maiden name, shows up. Ricketts, her mother's maiden name. But Hanks never showed up once. But Jones has popped up many times. And I called her, she lives in Georgia. I called down there and I said, Kathy, it's been a question for all these years. How about we get a DNA? I mean, they're all dead now. It don't matter to nobody but us. You know, it ain't gonna change how my life went, but I'd like to know the truth. I'm 57.
Right.
So that's why we're here.
You went on Sally Jesse Raphael?
I took her on there to tell her I was gonna transition.
You were brave decades ago.
Yep.
But I'd get them out of state to tell them that way.
Yep. Sure
You were
did.
brave to let folks know, period. However you did it, that's courage.
Plaintiff Deanna Grace petitioned the court for a DNA test because she knows she and the defendant have the same mother, but she wants to find out if they also have the same father.
But let me ask you that, because I'm always interested how television affects the human experience and the point of view of folks who watch, because it's been my observation that it does a lot.
It sure does.
All the way from the 60s with the Good Times. You showed a hard-working father who was in the household. He just was unemployed, but he loved and took care of his family, unlike some of the stereotypes about unemployed people in the housing projects. And then you had the Jeffersons showing upscale folks. And then you had even All in the Family showed a bigot. So we understood bigotry.
That's what I grew up in.
My question I was getting to is, did Caitlyn Jenner, formerly known as Bruce Jenner, did that affect you at all, give you any type of courage, inspire you? What was your take in your community even, perhaps? What was the discussion and the take on that?
The gay community that I was around, she really wasn't, we thought it was a game to her.
There you go.
And to me, it's real life.
There you go. I was kind of saying, I wonder if they thought that was whether it was viewed as a gimmick to get.
Yeah. Well,
she
can't do sports anymore, so let's do this and make money. That's the way
that's how it was. That's some of the observation and thought.
Yeah.
From your community.
This is hard. This is not easy. This is not something that, you know, you want to throw parties and. Well, actually, I do, but I mean, but to go on TV and the way she done it, I just didn't agree with it.
Okay, I was just curious because I know it has an effect, television, on culture.
Yes.
And some folks say that culture follows television. Some folks say first is the culture, then television shows what worldwide culture, American culture, whichever culture is portraying. It's already been set and television is just showing you. Others say that television shows you, and then we follow.
And we live it, huh?
So that's always interesting to find out what the
Works both ways.
effect was. And, well, whatever you thought is still the same. Yeah, you're not fooled.
Oh, it's okay.
Whatever you've been thinking, you can still think it. So that's good news, too.
Great. You know that. Everything will stay the same. Quit shaking.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, we know the truth. So if Bill would have been my dad, my life would have been different. My life's good.
You being to live with Grandma and Grandpa with me.
I'd have had a better life, but hey, I've lived my life. I'm proud of who I am now. So I'm happy.
Okay, that's all that matters.
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it? Okay. And ain't nothing changed. Still love you. Always going to love you. Help you as much as I can.
Thank you.
And until I'm gone. Everybody seems to be dropping like flies, and I'm the oldest. Y'all don't leave me here alone now.